Welcome back to our discussion on how government policies are actually contributing to the health of the population. With me here in the studio of Lok Sabha Television, I'm the author of this book. It's called Know Your Heart, and the subtitle says, The Hidden Links Between Your Body and the Politics of the State. Published by HarperCollins. With me here in the studio, I have journalist and writer Dinesh Sharma. Dinesh, this whole business of advertising and marketing of colas, carbonated soft drinks, high in sugar content, potato chips, all kinds. I mean, they're big business operations, and they are very influential. They try and give a spin that no, they are also conscious. This issue of labeling. Indira Nui, the head of Pepsi, she's an iconic Indian woman. She meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the United States. Prime Minister Modi himself is talking about mixing fruit juice with carbonated soft drinks. I mean, how do you see the thinking on these issues at the level of our political leadership?
No, I think it's an extension of what the Ministry of Food Processing has been thinking, looking at the food promotion of food processing industry and looking at, agriculture products as a raw material for the food processing industry. When we say mix fruit pulp with carbonated drinks, you are only looking at the fruit pulp as an input. Instead of saying eat fresh fruits and vegetables, you are saying you continue drinking cola. The message is that you continue drinking aerated and sugary drinks, and you have a little bit of fruits along with that, so that it helps the poor farmer. That should not be the approach. In fact, in the budget, when Mr. Arun Jaitley imposed the 5% tax on sugary drinks for the first time in several years, that was considered a good step, saying that you want to discourage. And in fact, he said that I want to make a health statement by these two taxes on increasing excise on tobacco products and increasing the soda tax, 5% soda tax.
Social activists like Sunita Naraj say like sugar has become the next tobacco.
Absolutely. Not only that, the New Scientist recently carried a cover story saying that sugar ultimately will have to be treated as tobacco and regulated as tobacco. But unfortunately, I mean, that is the kind of approach of the system, in the sense of, whenever there is a talk of any restrictions, for example, this junk food litigation is going on in the High Court, government has not been coming out openly saying that, okay, foods are bad for the...
Look at me, whenever this issue comes up, and the issue of marketing, the issue of advertising, it's put as choice. The ultimate sort of libertarian view that give freedom of choice. Give a choice to the consumer, even if that consumer is going to consume things which are unhealthy. You depend on that consumer being adequately informed. So what was your view on this whole issue of yehi hai, right choice, baby?
No. What is the choice, you tell me? If there is a cola A and cola B, what is the choice the consumer is getting?
Blindfold a person and say, which is Pepsi, which is...
You don't have a choice there. If you have one brand of chips and for 15 brands of chips, where is the choice? The choice should be between fresh foods and freshly cooked food and processed food. Is that choice available? No. Unfortunately, what has happened is, that's a global trend, I would say, that marketing of food products has taken such a turn because of spread of media, which is again an offshoot of liberalization. You had 2 channels in 1990 and you have 800 today. So the messaging that goes out to people in such large numbers has grown, and it's also aspirational when you have celebrities.
Precisely, and you have the biggest stars. I during the launch of your book at the India International Center, there was talk about how Amir Khan used to be promoting these, and then now he's also talking about social issues. Yes, you had Shah Rukh Khan. And an interesting analogy that, or an example that was highlighted by Sunita Naraj, if I remember correctly, Madhuri Dixit, in an advertisement, middle-aged woman, playing football, and after playing football and sweating it out, you need lots and lots of Maggi.
So these are the kinds of messages which are bombarding kids and adult population all the time. If you analyze, say, 10 food advertisements on television, you will come to know that each one of them is telling the viewer directly that what you have been eating is bad and here is the substitute which is coming in a packaged and processed form that is good for you. They are trying to negate the traditional food system through advertising. If you look at the advertising of several of these pre-cooked items where they say this food is as good as or better than your market,
especially say instant noodles, chilled soups, all kinds of curries which are all sort of
they are trying to replace your culinary skills with these kinds of products. So in one of the
it's all supposed to be part of the aspirational generation. You have less time, therefore you have to quickly put something into the microwave and your food is ready to eat.
Absolutely, aspiration is one side of the story.
Not fast food.
Yes.
Fast food, not slow cooking. Yes, please.
And the second thing what they are doing is direct onslaught on their traditional food system altogether. For example, one pizza company advertised where they had shown these dabbawalas which carry homemade food to the office
in Mumbai.
And suddenly this delivery boy comes and the cart of this dabbawala is thrown into the sea and dabbawala is the pizza is being supplied to all the office goers. So you are directly replacing fresh cooked food either in home or otherwise with a different kind of
and high powered advertising, big bucks being spent.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone and the pizza is delivered in your house within so many minutes flat.
So it is not just the question of convenience, choice. Yeah, some people will have to depend on if you are living alone in a big city or since your nuclear system, you are living more and more in a nuclear family. Single people are working in different cities or studying in different cities, so they may have to depend, but we are also showing the families doing the same thing. So it's an onslaught on our food system altogether across the board, not just of course convenience and choice are the factors, but they don't apply everywhere.
Okay, it's interesting that you are really here looking at the way public policies. It's not just the power of the government, it's the power of the corporate sector which is contributing to the deaths of large numbers of people in this country. It's truly a terrible fallout of all the, we want to grow, we want our GDP to grow fast, we want the so-called new middle classes, we want to meet their consumption requirements, and in the process we are creating an extremely unhealthy generation of Indians.
Absolutely, that is the challenge, that how do you balance. I'm not saying that you go back to the days of pre-liberalization days when you didn't have a choice, you didn't have superstores to go and buy things, and conveniences were not there. But you should make a healthy environment in which people can take their own decisions. That's my point.
Dinesh, we have to take a third break. It's a final break. There's one topic on which I want you to talk about in the fourth and the final segment of our conversation. Yes, we know prevention is better than cure. But nobody wants to promote policies of prevention. As was pointed out by Dr. Srinath Reddy, the beneficiaries are anonymous. But you save a life and you have an identifiable person. So here you are at one level, you have government policies which are directly or indirectly encouraging people to have unhealthy lifestyles. We can maybe talk a little bit about the absence of spaces for physical activity, including parks and pedestrians, pavements for pedestrians. And on the other hand, you have all these huge advertisements telling you which hospital to go to, which healthcare center to go to, which clinic to go to, if you have a heart attack. And the kind of, we seem to be leading these kind of almost schizophrenic lives. And what do we need to do? How do we sort of change the way, change the attitudes of those who matter in our society? This is the Lok Sabha channel. Our lawmakers, our policy makers, our influential people, the corporate captains. Let's focus on this part in the final segment. I'll be back with you. Stay with us. We'll be back with you in a very short while.